Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Alessandra. I work as Organic Marketing Manager at Smobu, and I will be your moderator for today's session. So as you probably already know, we're going to talk about revenue management today. But before we dive deep into the topic, I would like to share a brief poll with you. I will leave it for a few minutes. 1 second, the poll here, launch. The poll says, do you currently use a dynamic pricing or revenue management tool? And I will leave it for a couple of seconds.
Excited to see the results.
I will leave it 1 minute more since many of you are still answering. Okay, perfect. Thank you all for your answers. And let's go to our webinar. So first of all, let's look at today's speaker. There's me, as I said before, I work in the marketing team of Smobu, and I'm responsible for the Italian market specifically. And I will be the moderator today, which means I will take care of the question mainly. And then we have Nicolas Grogne from Smobu, Andrew Kitchell, and Danny Deas. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, Nicolas, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So hi, welcome. Thanks a lot for being here. I'm Nicolas. I work about 3.5 years for Smobu now, in charge of partnerships. So every connected apps that you can see in our marketplace, I manage them, and I'm happy today to have also Wheelhouse with us. So Andrew, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, great to meet you all. I'm very excited to spend some time with you all today. I'm Andrew from Wheelhouse. I've been building short-term rental technology for about 10 years. Actually founded another pricing company as well called Beyond Pricing. I run an operating company, so pretty large American operator called Lyric. And now for Wheelhouse, been focused here for about 7 years, really in building very deep data science to power dynamic pricing, revenue management, etc. And we're excited to spend some time with you today. Danny, you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Andrew. So yeah, welcome everybody once again. My name is Danny. I lead up partnerships at Wheelhouse. So I've been in the vacation rental space over the last 8 years. I mainly deal with all of our partners, including Smobu. So happy to be on the webinar today, and looking forward to providing you some more insights on revenue management and Wheelhouse itself.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So the webinar today will be structured into 4 main parts. So at the beginning, we will introduce Smobu. We will then introduce Wheelhouse, and then we will go to a revenue management demo in which you will see how the software works. And finally, we're going to have our Q&A. And I will be, as I said before, the person in charge of collecting the questions during the webinar. You can send the question anytime during the webinar. You can use the question section. You can recognize that it has a comic bubble with a question mark inside. And we will try to answer some of the questions during the webinar and collect some of them for the end of the webinar, for the final Q&A. And now I'll just leave the stage to Nicolas.
Hi, thanks a lot, Alessandra, for the presentation. So again, welcome you all to this webinar today with Wheelhouse. My goal here in the next minutes will be to present you Smobu main key features and highlight a little bit what we can do as a company. So Smobu as a company was founded in 2014 in Berlin, Germany, by a host looking for a cost-effective solution when the market was mostly aimed towards big property owners. So we saw a gap, and we thought that there would be maybe an opportunity to bring a cost-effective product for property owners around the globe. So Smoobu features a channel manager, PMS. We also give you the opportunities to take direct bookings via our booking websites. We do some guest communication, dynamic guest guide, guest management, you name it. Everything is included in the software, and we will help hosts all over the globe manage more efficiently their vacation rental. So one of the key features of Smoobu, and let's dive right into it, is the real-time synchronization. So we are partnering with key players in the market, such as Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo, Expedia, and many others, to bring real-time synchronization within your software. That means that any action happening on one of these platforms will be transmitted to Smoobu within milliseconds. So that allows us to obviously automate tasks, so you will have less repetitive work down the line. Because we bring you, oh, sorry, Andrew, can you come back very quickly? I just wanted to highlight the fact that Smoobu will allow you to have a different source of revenues. We all know that it's very important to diversify your portfolio. You want to be present on most bookable websites, let it be your own or big players. So Smoobu, without an extra workload, will connect you to these new sources of revenues. And because we also give you a direct website where your guests can book directly through it, you will get commissionless bookings, which can, on the long run, increase your revenues by a lot. Let's dive right into the automated communication. We've analyzed what actually our hosts doing most of the time, and over 50% of your time will be answering emails, will be making sure that the guest experience is on the level that you aimed. And because we have this real-time synchronization with the portals and we have API access to them, we are able to push messages directly to Airbnb inbox or Booking.com inboxes. This way you can have a planned strategy and Smoobu will execute it down the road. So you can send booking confirmation, check-in instructions, maybe leave a review kind of message after your guest's departure. All of this automated and personalized with the booking details from each reservation. Cool. And last but not least, one of the key features of Smoobu is that we partner with key players on the OTA side, so Booking.com, Airbnb, but also with third-party applications like Wheelhouse today, but we have many more, which basically allows you to build your perfect software within Smoobu. We don't aim to be perfect at everything. We don't aim to be smart locks resellers. We don't aim to be revenue managers, but we partner with the best. This way you can connect and tailor your Smoobu experience as you wish and be sure that the best is on our market. And if you feel that something is missing, you can always reach out to us. We're happy to build new partnerships with key actors in the market. I won't take more time for Smoobu. I think a lot of you know about us already, and I'm very pleased to see that there's so many people coming to listen to us today. It's a pleasure. So I'll let Danny go over Wheelhouse. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Nicely
yes,
done.
Thanks.
Describing the slides is a little harder. All right, Danny, take it away.
Cool, thanks. Well, thanks, Nico, for that. So I'm going to give you a quick introduction of Wheelhouse, and then Andrew's going to be mainly talking around, it's going to deep dive a little bit more into a demo of Wheelhouse and see what kind of things you can be doing today to actually uptick your revenue. So let's get started. So Wheelhouse, main mission is to actually help hospitality teams build enduring businesses, and this ultimately we're trying to do by building the best-in-class revenue management platform. So today we have on the Wheelhouse kind of hood, of course, one platform that is supported by 4 main products. So the first product, as many of you might know, is our dynamic pricing product. Then the next tool, maybe you can see that there also on the slide, is our competitive sets tool, followed by market reports, and also a booking insights tool, which is ultimately able to show you like how actually is your business doing, right? So we'll deep dive a little bit more into these products during the demo. But like I said, many people think today, oh, hey, like we just have dynamic pricing, but actually revenue management encompasses a lot more products, and dynamic pricing is actually one of them. So in terms of a little bit like, where does Wheelhouse stand amongst his competitors? I know, some of you might know the likes of PriceHubs or Beyond Pricing. I'd say what we really care for are a couple of things, but kind of the main ones really that for us are really important is that I think transparency is really key, right? We're actually the only pricing software today that publishes all of our pricing engine research. That's why I said for us transparency is really important. How do we ultimately compute a price on a nightly basis? And therefore, of course, transparency is key, but also feedback, right? So we constantly want to be audited, like, hey, if something is, for example, not correct, well, why is that the case, right? So we're being very transparent in that instance. Secondly, I'd say like we are probably the only one that offers also a mixture of different subscription fees. So we do have a percentage of revenue that our clients could use, or even like a flat fee. So this is a mix depending on if you have either properties that are maybe seasonal, or there's properties maybe that you don't use during the whole year, or that you want to revenue manage. You can actually put them on a percentage on revenue model, and then the rest on flat fee. It's quite flexible. We're actually the only pricing tool today that actually ingests vacation rental data and hotel data. So meaning we ingest Airbnb data, Booking.com on the hotel side, VRBO. So these are all, let's say, kind of data piece that we complement. And also we were one of the first to actually launch A/B testing, right? So A/B testing is a really powerful tool to understand, hey, like, what are my different strategies that I can potentially set up, and how can I test them to really understand which one is working better, right? So today, when a lot of you speak to your owners, it's not really as black and white. So you're really able to kind of deliver two strategies and actually present the results using A/B testing. I think the last important piece that I just wanted to mention here, and I know it's a lot of text, is we actually want to really over-invest in kind of 3 areas, right? Or we actually over-invest in 3 areas, which is one, support. We really take support seriously. Our design, we really want to make sure that our design is, that Wheelhouse is applicable for a user that has 1 listing or has a couple of thousand of listings. So design is super important, but also data science. And I'll go through that a little bit in a second. So coming back to support, so I think probably we have one of the best support teams. Of course, I'm being biased, but we probably have one of the best support teams in the industry, in the category. Today, we on average deliver response time within, I think currently it's sitting around 60 seconds. So not just like, hey, Nicolas, like, hello, Nicolas, or whatever that is, like actually responding to your question. And we deliver live chat 24/7. Anytime, anywhere, right? So you're welcome to go inside of Wheelhouse and actually test that, but it's actually true. The second piece here is what we overly invest in is our data science and data infrastructure. So today, of course, as we are pulling in a lot of data, we're analyzing about 20 million listings per night worldwide. So of course, the data infrastructure is really important, that you're able to actually ingest that, you're able to compute that, and actually accurately price a unique asset on a nightly basis. So that's something where we really take care of, working with the best data partners, but also working with additional data partners to actually complement our data sets that we're able to pull in. Like I said, we're the only today pricing software that actually publishes our research. And ultimately today we're going to show you like how are we able to drive your strategy really without using data-only pricing. Cool. So we got a lot of questions from this before, but today Wheelhouse is available worldwide. So if you're in Germany, Italy, wherever you might be, you're able to use Wheelhouse. It's not a matter of, hey, I'm in this location, therefore you can't use Wheelhouse. That's not the case. We serve over 4,000 businesses today in about 100 countries. So, you're welcome to use it anywhere. Also, we're very scalable. We have users that actually, have one listing, kind of connect to us, set it and forget it. And we have also users that have thousands of listings that actually connect to us, right? So we're very scalable. This is, can be a mixture of vacation rental or property managers that have resorts, so they have boutique hotels, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals. It is actually quite broad in terms of the scope of how Wheelhouse is applied. And actually, the common thing that all of these people have here, all of these kind of logos that you see, or these customers, is that they actually are building their revenue management strategy on top of Wheelhouse. We'll go through a couple of quick examples. I mean, Brett Robertson is a flagship property manager in the US. If you don't know them, I welcome you to kind of research them. They're actually, they do a lot of due diligence with all of their software that they actually look at. And of course, they decided to go with Wheelhouse based on after that due diligence. So that's one example. Romy is another one. They actually are building, their revenue management strategy on top of Wheelhouse. It's not only that they're leveraging us for dynamic pricing, but actually building a strategy and executing that on top of what we're providing them. So we'll go a little bit more deeper into that during the demo on how you can apply with us in different ways. But that was all for me. I think we have a quick poll, and then it's off to Andrew. It's not a trick question, so.
We'll help answer this in a second too. We hope.
Okay, so 57% says that they don't know the difference, and 27% say that they're unsure.
Okay.
All right, so you have
We'll try
quite
to
a
help with
task, Andrew.
So I think we're by the end of the day, it's not super important. I mean, if you can answer this question well at the end of it, I think the only thing that will matter to me and to us is that you understand how you can leverage slightly more advanced techniques to earn more money from your business, right? So when we think of dynamic pricing tools, dynamic pricing is using data to inform a pricing strategy. And the active revenue management that we'll see is really developing that strategy. So the components of that strategy could include how do you want to think about your minimum stay policy? How do you want to think about your last minute discounting strategy? Which A/B tests do you want to run? Do you want to build a budget so you can see how your business is performing to budget? Do you want to be looking at last year's performance to understand how you're doing and making adjustments based on that data? So pricing is a great place to start. And what we see is that folks usually go, as they scale their portfolios, they'll go from just having automated dynamic pricing into leveraging more and more revenue management to earn more from their business. And I hope by the end of today's presentation, you'll agree. So we're going to talk today about Revenue Management 101, and we're going to get out of the slides in just a second. We're going to get into Wheelhouse today, and hopefully you'll learn techniques that you can use regardless of whether you use Wheelhouse or not. We'll just talk about some various strategies that our customers employ to earn more. So without further ado, live demo time. We're going to start with a little bit of an overview of the Wheelhouse platform, and then we're going to look at various metrics you can see, 2 really critical reports, your pacing and your pickup report, and then we'll explore how you can leverage A/B comparisons to figure out how to drive your business in new directions. Okay, and Nicolas, you're going to be helping keep, if you see a good question come in, please send it our way. We are all about just making sure that we can answer your questions in a timely fashion.
Yeah, so to explain to our listeners right now, if you have any questions that pops up right now, we are also happy to jump. I mean, Andrew is happy to jump right into it and see if he can directly showcase it to you within the software.
Yeah, definitely. And if you all can keep me honest, I'll be paying attention mostly to the demo. So please fire questions at me if they come in that can help others. So right now we're on our website, usewheelhouse.com. Danny mentioned our research. If you are using dynamic pricing, something I would urge you to do is take some time to understand really how companies like Wheelhouse are coming at the answer of how should you price your unique property. What I'm sure you would agree with is that every home is unique, every season is unique. Pricing companies, dynamic pricing companies, we are always trying to guess the future. That is really, really hard, right? We're trying to say, how is your unique home or property going to perform in the future? And guess what? It's always a guess. We're always trying to predict the future. Sometimes things change. Example, during COVID, no one predicted COVID impacting travel patterns as much as they did. So the important part is that you have really well documented data science if you're using dynamic pricing. We publish everything, and the reason we publish everything we do, this is a very, very long read. It's about a 30-minute read, and I promise you we're not going to step through this today. But the reason we do this is because we expect that our customers are going to come in and modify their strategy in some fashion. You might prioritize week-long stays in the summertime. You might prioritize month-long stays in shoulder season. You might want to take a particular last-minute discounting strategy. Whatever you want to do, you're going to be modifying a pricing engine. So we believe it's our responsibility to tell you exactly what we're doing so you know how to make adjustments. So transparency is critical, not just from a values perspective, but really in helping you understand how you can leverage Wheelhouse to run your business better. So we're going to publish our pricing engine. We're going to tell you how we generate competitive sets, which we can see in the tool today should we have time. But you can build your own competitive sets, and we'll also keep an eye on all competitors for you. We'll talk about how we measure performance of the engine and other things. And Danny mentioned our 4 products. If you want to learn more about them, you can learn more here. We're going to be looking today really at our dynamic pricing and our booking insights tool. That's really what we're going to have time to review today. I'm going to sign into Wheelhouse. From Wheelhouse, we're going to give you a simple dashboard here, but really the magic starts to begin when we dive into a listing. And I'm going to pull up a property. I can do so from the quick select here or from any properties here as well. By the way, if I did want to connect Smoobu, I can really easily click add an account, click Smoobu, and it's a very simple connection. Okay. Let's go back to our dashboard for a second. Again, I'm going to click into an individual listing, and what we're going to do first is just get a sense for what you can do on Wheelhouse. So Wheelhouse is first and foremost a dynamic pricing company. That's the first tool that we constructed. Dynamic pricing is leveraging demand trends to help you earn more revenue from your property. So in this case, when I click into a listing, we do have a calendar view of pricing as well. But what I'm first going to see is my pricing strategy looking out 500 days into the future. Okay. Now your pricing strategy is tied to a base price. So your base price is, what should you normally charge for your property should there be no demand, right? So on a night with no demand, what should we charge? And what Wheelhouse is going to do, and this is all tied to our data science, is we're going to tell you, look, for your bedroom count and your bathroom count, for your apartment type, for the number of guests you can host, all of those are really important factors. But then we're also going to be looking at your occupancy, and we're going to be looking at all of your prior bookings. So in this case, I can see it's a little bit small, so I'll read it to you. But this says Wheelhouse has observed an average monthly occupancy of 31% over the last 25 months, so how long you've been connected to us. with a median booking price of $246. And we currently are 90% certain that the booking patterns we're seeing are contributing to an accurate base price. You can use one of our data-driven settings, or you can, and you'll see your price recommendations change really in real time as you make an adjustment, or you can override us, say you disagreed with us for some reason, and this currency will show in your local currency, but say you disagreed with Wheelhouse, we're gonna trust you. We might surface information over time with you that shows that we really think you should have a higher or lower base price, but you are fully in control. From your base price, you can also adjust things like your seasonality. So Wheelhouse will offer various data-driven approaches to your seasonality, or if you disagree with us, you can come in and override any month, for example. We talked a little bit about last-minute discounting strategy. Here you'll see your last-minute discounting strategy if you had a more aggressive strategy, but say you wanted to build a strategy, and we're gonna say 60 days out, let's drop our prices by 5%. Oops, sorry, put a negative there. You can tell it's a live demo. I'm gonna drop this by 45 days out, I'm gonna drop it by 10%. 30 days out, I'm gonna drop it by 15%. And then actually a strategy we see quite often is that 4 days before, people are actually gonna bring their pricing back up. And the reason some folks do this, especially in travel destinations, is there could be more risk that a last minute booker is gonna host a party. So maybe you don't wanna discount your property as thoroughly. Now, here's what I hope you actually saw in this. First is that whatever strategy you create is visualized really clearly here, and the adjustments you made are instantly applied to your overall pricing strategy. And this is true, I could do the same for far future, I could build a strategy. And then one thing that we really consider a bridge from between dynamic pricing and revenue management is the reason you see all these spikes in the pricing moving forward, right? We're seeing high variability in pricing. It's because Wheelhouse is noticing local demand patterns around weekends, local events, etc. And a lot of people do work with Wheelhouse because our system is very excellent at detecting these systems. We have 2 models that look at both your price signal near you and bookings near you to adjust your prices every single day to help you capture more demand trends. Now, let's say you were new to Wheelhouse and you didn't yet trust us. You can use Wheelhouse as a rule-based engine. That means you can come in and set all your rates, and we'll give you a really easy way to build and maintain your rates. And you can even turn off what Wheelhouse sees from your demand. So in this case, I still have a day of week pricing set up, so that's why you're gonna see some spikiness. But what some folks will do is they'll turn off Wheelhouse's demand detection, but they'll do something even cooler in my mind, which is they'll say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna set my own rates and I'm gonna be in control of my pricing. But 60 days out, if my inventory hasn't sold, I'm gonna bring in 50% of Wheelhouse's demand signal. And as the stay date approaches, I'm gonna bring in 100% of Wheelhouse's demand signal. Now, what I would hope you would take from that again is you are fully in control on Wheelhouse. Everything we're doing right now, we're doing on an individual listing, but when we go over to the portfolio page, you'll see that you could adjust your settings across thousands of listings at the same time. So say you had a consistent minimum stay policy that you wanted to employ. In this case, we have a default for this property, someone set up a 7-night minimum stay, but it's not uncommon for people to come in and say 60 days out, let's drop it to 5 nights, 30 days out, let's drop it to 3. You probably see where this is going. And let's turn on gap nights. So if we do get bookings, Wheelhouse will automatically adjust your minimum stays around those gaps to make them available for you. So there are a lot of different settings. You can even set up occupancy pacing, which allows you to adjust your strategy based on your performance. If you did want to see your strategy in a calendar view, you can do so here. And on each day now, we're going to show you all the impacting aspects of your price. We're going to allow you to see the historical change over time. And you can override any rate. So you can say, hey, you know what? I don't agree with Wheelhouse on this particular day. I want to increase prices by 10%. and I want to do it for all these days. And actually, I want to lock in these prices at 500, and you can even set day of week or expiring rates. So super powerful system, right? The customizations you can do on Wheelhouse are all designed to put you in control. We're not going to have time to step through the reservation table, all your performance insight or your performance insights, which are going to show you local demand around you, your comp set, notes, change log. There's a lot of functionality for you and your team, should you have a team, to be able to leverage Wheelhouse.
Andrew, just a quick comment. Could you maybe make your screen bigger, or I mean, at least the Google Chrome full screen? Maybe that will help a little bit.
Yeah, is that maybe what I can do too is let me see if I can change the screen. Let's see if I can just do Google Chrome. Are we now seeing just my Chrome? So if I change the size, are you able to see?
Yeah, also
that
people
might
at
be
the top
better.
can zoom in as well. So if needed, they can zoom in at the top on their dashboard.
Okay.
Andrew, one thing I was going to ask is we have some questions regarding some users trying to use Wheelhouse in the last couple of weeks, and it might be in some cases that their markets have been unavailable or that they've been out of market. Could you explain to us like why that happens, what they can do to avoid that?
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
we're getting some questions on that.
Wheelhouse, we do analyze every listing on Booking, Airbnb, VRBO, and TripAdvisor every night. So that's when Danny said we analyze 21 million listings per night. Those are the major marketplaces we're pulling from. And then we have other data partnerships, other OTA partnerships even, that dump a lot of data into Wheelhouse. However, defining a market, there are no universal definitions for where a short-term rental market begins or ends. So if you are, we will draw markets as people ask us to do so. So now we probably have, I don't know, 10,000 markets in Wheelhouse, somewhere around there. If you're not in a market, just message us through our chatbot. Our support team will be available for you and they'll give you a timeline, but usually it takes us about 1 to 2 days to get a market drawn. And then we have all that data looking backwards. We're just not, when we automate a market, we run a lot of compute. So we're now predicting every single price for every listing in that market every day. So we do that when people ask us to do that. So for most markets, for most larger markets, probably north of a couple thousand listings, certainly we should be available. And if we're not, please let us know. But we can quickly set up that market for you, and then we'd review it with you to make sure it's correct. Cool, I hope that helps. So we now clicked over to the portfolio view, and we're moving closer to talking about the various metrics and the various reports you can look at to really understand your business, okay? I did want to give you a little bit of a lay of the land about Wheelhouse first. So now what we're seeing on the portfolio view is now I'm seeing all of my listings, right? So in this case, on my demo account, I've got about 47 listings. There's various columns here that we'll step through a little bit. We have tags. So say I wanted to tag a particular column like new property, I'll say new owner. If you're a property manager, it's very easy to tag your properties, and the way you're going to use those is it's very easy now to slice and dice your portfolio, right? So if I wanted to just look at a tag, if I wanted to switch it out, very easy for me to do. I can even do includes all of, there's a lot of power that folks have to be able to slice and dice, and you can filter by tags, or you'll notice you can filter by teammates. You can focus by, you can look at properties that are producing revenue. You can look at markets or kind of everything, right? I can look at bedroom count. So easy ways to slice and dice your portfolio, right? To the right of this now, I have various metrics. And all of these metrics are in your control. So in this case, I want to see when did my properties last book. I'm looking at what is my occupancy for the next 30 days. What is my average nightly rate that I've booked for the last 30 days? And then I'm looking at blocked nights. So if you do manage properties on behalf of owners, we're looking at owner blocks. And these are booked nights as well. And once you have your portfolio set up, you can compress these down, and on Hover, we'll show you what they are. So It's pretty easy to do that. And what you'll also see is with the Wheelhouse calendar, you can really easily collapse all these columns simply down. So I'm going to compress these a little bit. And all of these are sortable. So for example, a strategy that a lot of people will look at is I just sorted by which properties haven't booked recently. And now I'm seeing that these properties here, from here to here, none of these have booked at least in the last 11 days, right? So that's a data point I might leverage to know where I need to fine tune my pricing strategy. Maybe I want to be booking more. And if I'm seeing a combination of low occupancy, so in this case, I'm seeing 3% occupancy and it hasn't booked, this is a candidate for a property where you're going to want to adjust the pricing strategy, okay? Now, Wheelhouse has a lot of metrics. And again, this is fully in your control. For example, you might be concerned about occupancy in the next 30 days, 90 days, 180 days. And as you add those, these new columns will emerge and you're able to sort. So one thing that Wheelhouse really tries to do through design, which Danny mentioned is a really important aspect of Wheelhouse, the goal is to make it very easy for you to create, evaluate, and edit your strategy quickly, right? If you are using dynamic pricing, Wheelhouse is going to be adjusting your rates. If you have some rule-based pricing or custom rates, you're overriding Wheelhouse. You might therefore want to see how that strategy is performing. Again, for block nights, this can be valuable. This is a demo account, so I have no owners. But if there were owner blocks which just flow seamlessly through your calendar, the way our customers use this is they'll go to an owner and say, hey, we have high occupancy, but a lot of block nights. Is it possible to open up a few more nights in your calendar? So there are ways to leverage a system like this, not just to price better, but to manage your owner relationships in a way that hopefully helps you earn more revenue as well, right? Sometimes we'll have owners that want to keep prices high, and you might be in a position where you want to actually see, well, if they set a high minimum price, we're going to show you the number of times that min price occurs. So every single time in the next 90 days, if they're always hitting the minimum price, this is another data point you can take to owners that just say, look, relative to market, you are overpriced. I would recommend we employ a different strategy. Okay. Now, from Wheelhouse, should you learn from these metrics changes you want to make? It's very easy to make a change. I can grab these properties. Say I decided that I wanted to change my strategy on these 4 properties from November till the end of the year. I can apply these dates and I'm just going to override. I'm just going to drop all these prices by 15%. Essentially a last minute discounting strategy. Super easy to do.
Andrew, we have a question from Jan Eric. So his question is Wheelhouse automatically able to detect or increase prices as inventory decreases, right? Or even if there's more demand in the market?
Inventory decrease. So if inventory in the market decreases or inventory in the portfolio or available nights on an individual property, probably. So first of all,
in the market, probably.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we are. If we were to look at an individual property, really quickly here, we will. We're going to show you that on top of that base price, there's a couple demand models. So when we show you the predictive demand, we're showing you all of the pricing signal near a property, and all of this is exportable, right? If you ever wanted to audit Wheelhouse, you can export all the numbers or all the images. Very easy to do. In this case, I'm looking at the next 12 months, that pricing signal. And then the reactive demand is actually going to be looking at all the bookings near you, right? And I can strip out what's the seasonal reactive demand just so I can see local events that might be peaking near me. So Wheelhouse does respond to overall market conditions. We also, on your portfolio level, we're going to pay more attention actually right now to just the whole market. But on an individual listing level, if you wanted to, I'll just go here quickly and I'm going to filter by I'm going to filter by a tag called occupancy pacing. But if you wanted to basically, and I think this is a very astute strategy, but if you wanted to say, hey, I'm not going to take much risk until I have a certain occupancy level, and then I'm going to take a lot more risk. So what this table allows you to do, and you can add columns and add rows here and adjust all the numbers. But basically what this says is if you're 40 to 60% booked, 121 to 150 days out, increase my default recommendation by 60%. So your own occupancy can determine how to adjust a strategy, right? So what we see some customers do is if they just got a big booking for 4 months out, they'll increase their prices and then they'll use this table to bring those prices back down should another booking not occur. That's a very logical strategy, right? We'll even be able to look in a second whether your occupancy pacing outperformed other properties. Okay. I hope that answered the question. I'm going to go back to the portfolio view, but a slightly different view. So now I'm on the portfolio settings view, right? Again, I'm seeing all of my properties. I'm seeing the same tags. I could have saved the column format I just updated to, but I didn't. To do so, I just need to click save as the default view, right? So you can control the view that you see. Each teammate, if you have teammates, can have their own view. But now I'm just going to show, let's say I wanted to grab these 5 properties, or even better, let's grab that last tag, occupancy pacing. Let's filter down to the 4 properties. We're going to select all, and we're going to adjust the minimum stay here. So exactly, again, what we saw on an individual listing level, I can now build here, meaning I can come in and say, hey, I'm going to have a 7-night default minimum stay, 60 days out, I'm going to drop to 5, 30 days out, I'm going to drop to 3. And now, hopefully what you're seeing is you're able to, again, to create a revenue strategy really, really quickly. We're able to evaluate our portfolio quickly, right? So we have all these columns and we can even filter. So let's say I just wanted to see who in the next 30 days has $0 to $2,000 in revenue. Now I'm looking at the properties that are relatively underperforming. This is revenue management. It's starting, well, the foundation of it is starting to analyze individual listing performance to figure out what you should change. And again, you can trust Wheelhouse, but we're dynamic pricing. We need to know your strategy to help you maximize revenue. So the combination of your strategy plus our data science is what maximizes revenue from portfolios. Part 2 of today. Now what we're going over to is our booking page. So on our booking page, we're now seeing a different view of your portfolio. We're seeing all of your revenue across all of your listings at the same time, right? So I'm seeing how much revenue do I have in November, in December, in January, February, March, April, looking forward into the future. Now I'm going to turn off this budget line, but you can build a budget and see how your properties are performing in budget. What Wheelhouse is going to show you is your total revenue and booked in the last 2 weeks. You can also look just what's booked in the last week or even the last 3 days. Let's leave it on a week and let's strip it out just so we can see where's our portfolio actually selling right now. In this case, we can see we're generating a lot of revenue for December, but maybe January and February are relatively overpriced. Let's look at how we were selling last year. Now this helps me see that yes, January last year, I was selling a lot more inventory, but February, I'm actually pacing a little bit ahead. Well, at least in terms of sales. A monthly view is probably a little bit too high level. So you can zoom into a weekly view, and then you can zoom in really closely as well. You can even zoom in to a daily view, right? We'll reset zoom quickly. So however you want to look at your portfolio, you're able to do so. If we add our total back in, another thing you can do right now, we're looking at our total revenue. We can just look at our occupancy percentages. We can look at our occupancy and overlay things like lead time. So where are people booking really far in the future? Or a little bit before? Where are people booking But if you overlay the average daily rate, you'll see there aren't that many bookings here, but they're at a really high price. That might be a signal. So let's say that we were looking at the May to June period, and we were seeing a lot of pickup or a lot of bookings in our market. You can probably imagine what we'd want to do. We'd want to go back to our calendar. We're going to select all our properties. And obviously, you'd probably want to be a little bit more precise. We're going to click to May, and we're going to kind of say, hey, till the end of May to the start of June are booking pretty well. Let's go increase those prices by 10%. Click Save Prices, and you've just adjusted your strategy, right? So this booking page is a way to start looking at the performance of your business and start making adjustments, okay? Now, the same, and Nicholas, any questions so far? I know we don't have that much more time, but we're moving to the final section.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I don't
I've
see any questions. So, Dan, if you want.
yeah, I've been answering most of them. So one question I think which was interesting from Valentina was, what if I want to do a discount on my property before it gets free? So let's say 5 days before, and want to get the price back to normal when it's rented out. So basically, she wants to set a discount before it's kind of rule-based discount setting. That's probably what she's talking about.
Yeah, so not knowing 100% what you want, but let's go over here. So you can build all sorts of custom rates on Wheelhouse. So let's go, actually, calendar view and custom rates are relatively similar. I'm gonna go grab on my calendar view these 7 nights. And let's say I don't know if you wanted to discount or increase, but I heard discount. So I'm gonna say if you wanted to drop prices 10% for this series of days, and then say, hey, I wanna hold this discount in place until the end of December, I can preview and save that custom rate. So now I discounted for the next 40 days, right? And so that's a relatively powerful way to do that. And I believe, let's just check together. If this isn't live already, it will be soon. If I wanted to do that same thing, so say set a custom rate for multiple properties at the same time. If I wanted to increase by 10%. So I actually, as of now, I can't set an expiring rate on 4 properties at the same time, but I'm pretty confident in about 8 weeks at the most that will be available. So by the end of the year, you'll be able to do that across multiple listings at the same time. Valentina, I hope that answered your question. I want to show one more thing because I actually think this is where revenue management and dynamic pricing really start to separate, right? So we've seen on Wheelhouse, we can come in, we can leverage, if you wanted to turn on dynamic pricing, it's 1 second, right? You could just turn on set and forget it. We're going to earn you more revenue. And if you want to go read our reviews online, you will see that, right? Average revenue increase around 20%. However, people definitely do better, and the more unique your strategy is, or the more unique your property is, or the more unique your owners are, you might want to come in and exhibit a little bit more control, right? So we've looked at how you can use data-driven or rule-based pricing. We've looked at how you can set up your portfolio so you can add tags and then slice and dice. But again, in our opinion, where that gets really powerful is leveraging it for A/B testing. So whereas we can filter our portfolio, a slightly more powerful feature is the comparison, right? So in this case, what I want to look at is I can really compare anything. So I want to look at how my large properties are performing versus my small properties, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the bedroom counts, and just generally, high level revenue, it's valuable, but let's slice and dice to see what's really performing well in our portfolio. So if you wanted to pull apart various inventory types, this is one way to do it, right? I want to see what's performing. You'd be able to see the analytics here. And if you wanted to compare markets, let's say we wanted to compare, okay, we see our revenue going up, but let's compare Houston, that's a US market, versus Myrtle Beach. So city versus a vacation. Again, you'll be able to see what's actually performing well, what's selling. So now we can get a little more fine-tuned with our revenue strategy, right? What I would kind of instantly see here is that Houston is wildly outpacing Myrtle Beach. I might therefore come in and filter by market. I might go to Houston and I might increase my strategy, and I might go to Myrtle and kind of decrease my general strategy over the next couple months, right? But it can be even more fun. So let's say we wanted to do a comparison of those tags. So let's say that you had owners who insisted on a 7-night minimum stay, and you had other owners that insisted they were open to a 5-night or even 3-night minimum stay. Well, now you can easily see which strategy outperforms the others. And overall, that shorter minimum stay strategy is going to outperform revenue-wise on the 7-night, right? In this case, the roll-up of revenue is about a 15% increase in revenue. And obviously, it's a demo account. We have a machine that kind of spits out auto bookings based on the probability to book, right? So it's spoofed, it's kind of fake data, but not totally fake data. It actually performs a little bit like a normal market. But for you, you might come in and find the opposite. And you might want to test things such as, what if we aggressively drop prices or quickly drop prices before a stay date? I'm gonna strip out this one. And what if we actually keep our prices higher as a stay date approaches? Well, how does that strategy play out? Now we can see that keeping our prices higher, strangely, actually is resulting in about 30% more revenue, right? I'm looking here for that information. I want to see how it's changing in the last 14 days. So if I made a new strategy adjustment. So these views enable you to have a different, it allows you to understand how to maximize your business and answer that question of what should we be doing differently, right? A pricing engine is always guessing. A revenue management strategy is informed by your actual data and your actual goals. A revenue management
question that I have, it's about the Smoobu and Wheelhouse connection. When you guys connect to a Smoobu account, do you already analyze past booking data from the account you connect, or
yes,
the data will start build up? Okay.
No, we can, as much data as you have in Smoobu, Wheelhouse will ingest when you link your account. And you could even, if you wanted to talk to our team, you can even link your account, and we can, if you're a Smoobu user, we can get you set up to use this page for free till the end of the year, just so you can figure out how to set up your business for success, right? Like, you all took the time today to come learn about our platform. We appreciate that. Send us a note, and if you wanted to come analyze your business, you'll see all your bookings immediately. Well, it probably takes us an hour to ingest all your data, right? It depends on the size of your account. The larger the account.
That's really important for people that are ready to jump in, that you will already see some executable. Let's say you will have already data, and to build a strategy right from the get-go. You don't need to wait 6 months.
No.
To have
end of the day. Perfect. End of the day. Yeah, you could be building your revenue strategy by the end of the day. The other thing I wanted to share for property managers, what we're seeing a lot of people use this tool for, again, is to communicate with the owners, because all of this is exportable, right? I can just click and I can export this as an image or the data, and I can send that to an owner. And even if the owner decides to keep the 7-night minimum stay, or decides they want to drop their prices aggressively, whatever they want to do, them having that choice is a highly differentiated offering from any property manager they've ever worked with, right? So this is hopefully a really powerful tool, whether it's your own portfolio or whether it's you're managing on behalf of other owners. We hope all these tools allow you to tell a different story. You can even, and this is the last thing I'll show, you can even come in and you can build a budget in Wheelhouse. So again, for your own properties, if you wanted to build a budget, say you wanted to make sure you're getting to $2,000 a month per property, you can build that here. So I'll just adjust this in real time, and I'll go back to my budget. This budget line, I can even look at a weekly basis whether my portfolio is achieving my budget goals. But again, you could have owners build out their budget And as long as you're hitting budget, you're usually going to keep that owner in your portfolio, right? And as long as you're hitting budget, you probably want to keep that listing in your portfolio. So really, Wheelhouse has gone from a dynamic pricing platform to a full revenue management platform, and increasingly is helping teams really figure out the right financial moves for their business. And if we had more time, we're over another day, but I know we're out of time now, you can even leverage Wheelhouse's comp sets to start analyzing which properties near you are performing better or worse, what you can learn from them, and even which properties you might want to invest in or target. So pretty powerful altogether, we hope. That's really it for today. I believe I stopped my screen share. Is that correct?
Yep, we don't say
Yes.
anything anymore.
Okay.
Something I take away from that also is because I see that all the information is pretty much exportable.
Yes.
So I think this is also super powerful. We are just at the beginning of AI, and I know ChatGPT can, for instance, understand. You can right now upload documents to AI models, and you could also I see like a lot of potential of having all this data and have it exportable, like to deal with it either via API or do it via a simple CSV export and see also externally how you can adjust your strategy. I mean, this is for me the very good
You're
thing to
right.
have in Wheelhouse.
You're exactly right. Like basically, look, right now, design is super important because we need to surface insights to people to help them make decisions. But that translation of what's happening in your market or in your portfolio in AI could certainly summarize that and provide you with more clarity on which actions you might want to take or consider. Good read.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andrew. Love it.
Thank you so much. I hope all I recognize that was a lot to throw at you. Hopefully you saw if there's one that you do, even tagging and running, you can tag your business already and already do comparisons internally. You don't need Wheelhouse for that. It would take a spreadsheet and some data. It is harder. Software makes it easier, but hopefully today we provided some value. Would love to learn about your business and appreciate your time.
I think Danny had
Yeah,
some
we have a
questions
couple
still.
of questions just to answer at the end, Andrew. So Melvin is asking about rolling data. Do we only keep 12 months of rolling data within Wheelhouse, or what's the?
No, so Wheelhouse stores data back to our origins, so 2014. We have 8 years of data on some markets. We don't, well, the depth of data we have, I think we started ingesting worldwide data sometime in early 2021. So now we're for essentially every market at 2.5 years of data, but for like Paris or for Berlin or whatever, we probably have 8 years of data. And then at an individual level, we actually will ingest all of your data. I think our booking page right now does only show you 1 or 2 years in reverse, but the market intel will show you 3 years in reverse. So yeah, we'll ingest it all, we'll store it all, and I can't remember exactly how much we visualize. Are you all able to see my screen or not? I can't tell. No? Okay. I was going to go right to it, but test out. If you test out that booking page, you'll know the answer, and I should be able to answer that. I apologize. I know we're evaluating, basically giving you indefinite time, but it is a lot more data to load, so it would slow down performance for a lot of our customers.
Couple other questions. I know we're a little bit over time, but we can do these last two real quickly.
Yeah.
So Stuart Gordon asks, how do you know about local events that could affect reservations? So basically, how do you incorporate events within your algorithm?
Yeah, so great question. This is the hardest. So seasonality, predicting seasonality is relatively easy and it's relatively consistent. Predicting day of week, so like, is your market big from Thursday to Sunday or 7-week patterns? That's relatively easy as well, although it changes a lot within a market. Local events is by far the hardest. So the two primary data inputs for us, we We did have an event partner at one point, but their data at a worldwide scale isn't valuable. So the valuable signal for us is, are hotels and other people near you raising prices? That's kind of part one. However, people can raise prices around an assumption of activity that doesn't happen. So the second signal is, well, what's, is your market booking? But Wheelhouse is way more precise. And if you go to our research, you'll see this. It's more like, okay, are 3 bedrooms with pools booking? Are 3 bedrooms with pools in this neighborhood booking? Are 3 bedrooms with pools and a barbecue booking? All of those attributes actually tie into our understanding of how we should adjust prices at a local level. So you could imagine if there was a big business conference, well, that doesn't mean people are going to rent a lot more vacation destinations in an area. They're probably going to rent like smaller, quick units where they're marketed towards business travelers. So they might have a dark place to sleep and a place where they can see and set up their laptop, right? So the type of trip impacts demand for inventory types. So we look at those booking patterns at an incredibly specific level every single day. We call it reactive modeling. And I would argue that that is the thing that Wheelhouse is best in the world at. And if you were to go ask other companies, please tell us how you do reactive modeling, I think you'd find the depth of data that we have and the depth of research we've done around that is best in class. It's really a point of pride for our organization. Any other questions?
I
know
yes, so there was there was some questions around pricing, like how do we price? I've sent some people some links of maybe for the broader context, maybe just explain the 2 models.
Yeah. So the 2 models could theoretically be confusing. Let me tell you the general approach of it. Wheelhouse's job through data science, design, and customer support is to help you earn as much money as possible from your business. And we work with customers in 100 countries. And for some of those people, it makes more sense to pay us a percentage of revenue because of their currency. And for some people, it makes sense to pay us a flat fee, right? And the general premise of Wheelhouse is our job is to make you more money, and you're invited to keep more money. You can set up your portfolio however you like. So we are unopinionated on which model you should choose. It is really your choice. You could start with one and switch to the other. Yeah, it's kind of a principle of, this approach started during COVID, where a lot of our customers didn't know if their market was going to be open. So they might have wanted to commit to the flat rate, but if their market shut down, they're going to earn $0. So they didn't want to take that risk. And we actually just found that it empowered people to run their business in a way that to us is very appealing. We've built operating companies before. We know this is a hard business. So we've stuck with that philosophy you're in control, choose the right pricing approach that works for you. And as you scale, your prices come down for Wheelhouse. It's basically the way it works. Regardless if you have 1 listing or 1,000 though, you can expect that 70-second, 60-second response time from customer support. We do not bifurcate based on portfolio size.
One last question, I think this one came up a little bit as well, is there an opportunity to test Wheelhouse as a free demo to see proposed strategy structure before buying it? We went a little bit into that already, but I think it was good just to answer how people can start at least setting up and start viewing and playing with Wheelhouse.
Yeah, really what Wheelhouse charges for is when you automate pricing, right? So you can come, link an account, you can play with a lot of the site. If you're in a market and you link to us, you'll have that market report and access to that. I believe you can see everything on your booking page, but if not, like if you're a Smoobu customer, just message us and we'll get that set up for you. You should be able to adjust all your strategies, and you start to pay. Like we think there's a couple types of work we do, but when we're updating your prices every single day and running compute to like figure out your perfect pricing, that costs money. And we pay beforehand, but like you can try the platform for free. And if you have a large account and you want to talk to a salesperson, I know talking to sales isn't everyone's dream of fun, but like our sales team are basically revenue managers who can help you get set up in the best way. So they're going to be really helpful for you in evaluating whether Wheelhouse at scale helps your business.
Yeah, this is something a broader comment on that, but this is always something we try to explain to customers. Like coming to experts is also a good solution. Like let it be a pricing tool, revenue manager like Wheelhouse, or coming to Smoobu. You always have people that are in your industry, in your field, that are able to give you some insights. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to any of these companies. Like usually they will be of good advice.
Yeah, I do believe that. And look, this is scary stuff, and it's really hard, right? It's we do not take lightly. We recognize Wheelhouse looks like a dynamic pricing software. We would argue that like it's more important to diligence your dynamic pricing partner and your revenue management platform than it is to diligence your bank, right? We are actively helping your business earn more money. We better be good at our jobs. So we do not take that lightly. So yeah, taking time to learn about this will reward itself. You will earn more money from a platform that you understand, whether that's from your pricing strategy or your ability to communicate with owners, or even your ability to communicate with teammates about what strategy you're employing. Right? All of these things are what a revenue management platform can make more simple for you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andrew, for that.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you very much. From my side, just to conclude, there's two things. The first one is that you're all going to receive a recording tomorrow, the full recording. So if you want to pause to check the software better, you can do it. And the second one is that at the end of the webinar, there's going to be a very brief survey if you have 2 minutes to answer a couple of questions.
Great.
And that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Team Smoobu, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all, and wishing you well.
Thank you for coming, Andrew. It was really a pleasure receiving you guys today. Hopefully our audience learn a couple of stuff and they'll come check you out. Amazing stuff. I mean, I've been trying also Wheelhouse on the side to see a little bit what you have to offer in terms of data, and it's just very, very powerful. So I invite everyone to just do the same right now. And as you said before, like within a day, you could already have like some very good insights about your business. So just do it.
Appreciate that.